At 21:42 local time, the USS Farragut was holding a steady patrol track 48 nautical miles south of a critical tanker corridor, when the ocean ahead of her lit up like a camera flash. Instant, blinding, and wrong. Not orange like fuel, not white like magnesium. This was a flat, featureless burst of light that expanded outward in a perfect sphere before collapsing inward like someone had just switched it off. No warning, no launch detection, no missile plume, just a flash that shouldn't exist. The SPY-1D radar didn't classify it as an explosion. It flagged it as a data anomaly. Every frequency band spiking at once, from low-frequency maritime search to high-frequency fire control, all saturated for 0.4 seconds. If you look here at the radar playback, you'll see the problem immediately. The return doesn't bloom like debris. It stretches, smears, and then folds back into itself like the system is trying to track something that isn't staying in one place. Imagine trying to follow a laser pointer on a mirror while someone keeps moving the mirror. That's what the radar was seeing. 3 seconds later, the navigation officer noticed something worse. CIC, we just jumped. Define jump. INS drift 0.9 nautical miles, GPS degraded. We're not where we think we are. That's not drift, that's displacement. And when a destroyer doesn't know its own position, every weapon becomes a guess. At 21:43, surface search radar picked up a contact at bearing 068, range 21 miles, speed inconsistent, fluctuating between 60 and 220 knots. CIC, classified track 771. Unable. No AIS, no IFF, no known profile. The tactical action officer leaned in. Air or surface? The radar operator hesitated. It's both. Altitude reads 40 feet. Cross-section spikes like a small aircraft. That's not possible. A surface contact doesn't present like an aircraft, and an aircraft doesn't skim at 40 feet without leaving a wake. At 21:44, two MH-60R Seahawks, call signs Ghost 61 and Ghost 62, were vectored toward the contact. They were 12 miles out, descending through 2,000 feet, sensors active. Inside Ghost 61, the sensor operator switched to FLIR. Contact on radar. Negative on IR. Say again? No heat signature, nothing. It's like it's not there. Every moving object generates heat. This thing had none. It was a hole in the system, not a target. At 21:45, communications started degrading. Not a hard jam. Worse. Delayed transmission. Orders reached the helicopters 3 seconds late. Responses came back 5 seconds after that. 8 seconds. In an intercept, that's the difference between where something was and where it is now. Then the first real complication hit. The Aegis system flagged Track 771 as a potential inbound threat, not because it matched a missile, but because it didn't match anything. Unknown plus fast plus closing equals hostile. Fire control began building a solution automatically. Ghost 61, confirm position relative to Track 771. No response. Delay. Static. Inside CIC, the track correlation flickered. For half a second, Ghost 61 and Track 771 merged into a single symbol. That's how friendly fire happens. Not with bad intent, but with bad data. Hold fire. Hold fire. The weapons officer's hand hovered over the console. One more confirmation, and the system would have authorized a missile launch. Then the tracks split again. Ghost 61 drifted south by 3 degrees. The unknown held course. The system recalculated. Friendly. Hostile. Separate. 2 seconds from killing your own aircraft. At 21:46, Ghost 61 descended to 900 feet, pushing forward for visual confirmation. The pilot leaned into the glass, scanning the dark water ahead. I've got something. Maybe. Define? Maybe. It's distortion, like heat shimmer. But there's no heat. If you look here at the FlyR feed, you'll see it, a circular ripple. The water inside it is unnaturally calm, like the waves are being pressed flat by something invisible. And at the center, a metallic object, small, roughly 3 to 4 meters. No rotors, no exhaust, no wake, just hovering. At 2147, it moved. Not forward, not sideways, up, from sea level to 300 feet in less than a second. CIC, contact just jumped altitude. Confirm? Affirm? We have no idea how. Then it pulsed. Every system onboard Ghost 61 shut down. Instantly. HUD gone. Radar gone. FLIR gone. Imagine driving at full speed and someone turns off your vision. All at once. That's what just happened in the air. Systems snapped back. The pilot exhaled sharply. CIC. That thing just wiped everything. Half a second later, the pulse hit the Farragut. Not enough to shut it down, but enough to scramble every track on the board. The system wasn't seeing one object anymore. It was seeing dozens, like trying to hit a target in a hall of mirrors. At 2148, command changed posture. Intercept turned into monitor. Weapons were pulled back, and then it escalated. A second contact appeared. 40 nautical miles north, near the tanker corridor. Same signature. Silver Horizon, this is U.S. Navy asset. Alter course immediately. No response. The object reached the tanker's bow and stopped. Instantly. No deceleration. And the water changed. The tanker lurched forward slightly, like friction had just been removed. That's not physics as we know it. The object hovered for 3 seconds, then it dropped straight down into the water. No splash. No ripple. Gone. Track 771, the original contact, reappeared. 58 nautical miles east, inside a restricted military zone. We're not tracking motion, we're tracking appearances. That changes everything. But the objects didn't leave. They multiplied. Third contact. Fourth. Like probes testing coverage gaps. CIC, they're everywhere. Not literally everywhere, but enough to overwhelm tracking. Then, as suddenly as it began, it stopped. No more contacts. No more pulses. Radar cleared. Systems stabilized. And if you think that's the end of it, look at the timestamp. 2202 local. Exactly 20 minutes after the first flash. Not random. Timed. Controlled. Like a test window. And tests don't happen once. They happen until something passes. Or until something fails.